I'm from a custom software company called Parthenon Software, and today I'm not going to talk to you about custom software. I'm going to talk to you about distributed denial of service attacks, or DDoS. You've heard a little bit about that from previous speakers. This is one of those, and your website does end up under siege when this kind of thing happens. This is based on my last experience with one, which was about a month ago. We usually deal with one about twice a year. It is a miserable job dealing with one, and it is exhausting. It takes about a week usually to successfully beat one off, but you can knock them out of commission. The ones that you usually see in the mass media are huge. Most of the ones that you actually encounter aren't. They are small timers. They usually aren't that big or important, and if you keep take psychology into account, well, you might even be able to beat them. This one was no exception. It started with a trial run where the site went down. It looked like a network problem. We knew from experience it probably wasn't, and we started warning people, and the people were ISP. You got to be good friends with your ISP. A few hours later, the real attack started, and that definitely is one where the ISP starts tearing their hair out, and you probably start tearing yours too, because it's never at a convenient time. The attackers come in a few different flavors. We've had guys go after us for revenge. We've had people in other countries where maybe they feel like they could do better business if the opposing site wasn't around, knock it out. And then they have your average extortionists, which were these guys. They were extortionists from Russia, and we found out later about them. They can also hire other guys if they're not good enough and you seem to be winning. They can hire consultants, so to speak, to do better DDoS attacks on you. I'm going to talk about those in a few seconds because we got to deal with those during this attack. We brought our defensive weapons into play. Best one, a good relationship with your ISP. And you should probably have more than one ISP if you expect to be DDoSed. You're going to be a digital pariah as soon as that attack starts because ISPs do not have it in their best financial interest to help you with the DDoS. You need an orchestration tool because you're going to be doing a lot at once. You need to centralize your logging because you need to see what they're doing at once. And most importantly, in many ways, you have to control your DNS. Usually DNSs take a while to update, so if you can make it so it takes a couple of seconds for any update, well, that's really good for you. Now, here I'm going to look at the battlefield beforehand. We've got two ISPs for this client. One is routed through Integra Telecom, and the other's upstream was Hurricane Electric. They're both big, strong ISPs, but at the rate we're paying, they can't really handle a major DDoS attack. The guys started hitting Hurricane Electric and with normal application level attacks, and pretty soon Hurricane Electric blocked, null routed, they call it, our IPs. These attacks basically meant that we couldn't communicate on that network, but we had an internal network that routed to the other one. These were app-level attacks, so they'll hit you, but you can see the attacks coming if your pipe's big enough. So we threw up shields. We basically created a bunch of servers on Amazon using EC2 and routed our DNS to that. So now they hit the load balancers, and then we can filter at the load balancer level, and we can filter at the level of the back end because we're watching it via the logs the whole time. So now you see the internet is going to the AWS accounts, and the trick is that the AWS servers are load balancing through our secondary ISP, which nobody else knows about. They don't know the IPs, and the attackers have no idea it belongs to us. So they're concentrating a lot of fire on us, but since we're doing this across multiple data centers, because it's Amazon, you can easily do that, it's really hard for them to concentrate that much effort on something that big. If they can take all of Amazon down after us, they'd probably be able to deserve to take us down. Because Amazon never goes down, right? Anyway, so after about a day or so, they switched to network level attacks, and these are a little harder. They start packeting you, and even Amazon can't deal with them on a small individual basis, but what they'll do is they'll null route those specific IPs, and then you spin up another one. And another one. And as you do it, you've got to change your DNS as fast as possible, and that's where the DNS stuff comes into play. It took them about a day, and then they switched back to app-level attacks, and we watched and we're like, that doesn't make sense, but in some ways that showed a good sign to us because they were doing a lot of different things, and that means if you're being clever in a brute force attack like DDoS, it means you're desperate. So we were watching them and we're like, all right, this means they're going to be tired soon. And you can tell pretty soon they're starting to lose heart. It also probably meant they paid somebody to do the packeting. They were doing the app level attacks themselves. So another day of this, and they ran away. They ended just in time for our company party, and I got to go home and after that and not have to go back on the computer and fight them. Thanks, you guys.